I'd like to call to order the regular Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting for Wednesday, November 12th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Would we all please rise and pay respects to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Noting of the roll, please.
Noted, there is a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda with the deletion of item 14F.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Shapiro. Are there any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item number 5, approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari and a second by Trustee Shapiro. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item number 6, board members, we have a presentation by BS&A. BS&A is our software supplier for many of our features in our township. Joel Champ, if you want to come up and put the presentation on. A little knowledge up front. BS&A does a lot of our work, and it's being done on a server right now. And BS&A is switching from a server to a cloud-based. And why we rushed to get this on the agenda tonight was there's a long wait time to get onto the cloud timeline. So take her away.
So first of all, that's Joel Chan. I am Keegan Nixon. We're just going to tag team the presentation tonight.
Very good.
And help inform everybody of why we're considering this. So first of all, thank you for having us. Thank you guys for being longtime customers. So we say we appreciate the opportunity to speak with the board tonight. This time is for you all, for those in the crowd as well. So we want this to be informational, but feel free to shout out your questions as you have them as well. So go ahead and get started. Quick background on myself. Again, my name is Keegan Nixon. I've been with BS&A a little over 11 years. I've been in support. I've been in implementation, training, account management. I'm the director of the account management team now at BS&A. And alongside me, Joel, he's been with BS&A for a couple of years. I'm somewhat local. I live in the city of Fenton, so it wasn't too far of a trip. But looking forward to the time we have tonight. So to kick it off, we do, as Jack mentioned, we do have 2 platforms. We have our .NET or our desktop solution that was written in 2008. So it's 17, 18 years old at this point. We do still support that platform, but that's pretty antiquated, right? We sometimes joke about how tech years are kind of like dog years, dog years, that's 7 years, that's kind of a long time. It's kind of like that with technology. So our cloud product, we released that in 2021. It is the platform that we officially recommend our customers strongly consider. We're not forcing anybody to do it, but that's where a lot of those in the industry are going, and there's quite a few in Oakland County that are heading in that direction as well. So this slide is just designed to cover why consider it, right? What are the main advantages? Why cloud or why SaaS? So one of the top benefits that I like to call out is the seamless integration, right? Today with .NET, you have a different database for each of your modules, right? In tax, you actually have different databases for each of your tax years, same as assessing, but in cloud, we actually are able to combine everything into one. So in terms of reporting, cohesion, and accessibility of that data, it is much more streamlined. It's much easier to manage. It's also a lot easier for us to support that environment. Number 2 is scalability. So with .NET, you're completely reliant on an on-premise server. You have a SQL server, I believe it's somewhere here in the building, and you pay to support that, right? You pay to maintain it. If there's a failure, you have to work with IT to patch it, right? If you need more resources, you have to pay for those resources. A lot of municipalities are moving towards SaaS platforms like this because it's completely scalable, right? So as you accrue more data, as you store more attachments like PDFs, Excel documents, and things like that, our system scales with you. There's no limitation on that, and there's no additional cost because you added 10,000 attachments, recording your permit activity or code enforcement letters and things like that. The third one that I'll touch on here is accessibility. So today with .NET, if you're going to access the platform from a remote location, like from home or from the field, you have to have a VPN and you have to remote into a workstation that's physically here in the building. In our case, all you need is a web browser and an internet connection, and you can access everything related to BSNA. So that's a huge advantage in itself. These are security responsibilities. I don't want to inundate people or get into the weeds with this, but really what this slide is designed to show is who is responsible for security when you're on a SaaS platform versus what you're responsible for when you're using an on-prem system. And so you've got the category on the left-hand side, the platform, and then so if you're on premise, it's your responsibility for all of these things, right? If you're on a SaaS platform or our cloud platform, a lot of those things become our responsibility, right? Like patch management, backups and disaster recovery, scalability, software updates. A lot of that is on us, right? So we take that load off of you, we take that cost off of you too. Some things become shared responsibilities as well. So, user permissions and access controls and things like that, we share those. Some things are still on your shoulders, like securing your internet and things like that, but we take a lot of that load off of your shoulders, so. There are also areas for cost savings. So even though SaaS platforms, that stands for software as a service, right? So annually it is more expensive than what the .NET fee would be today, but what you're paying today for .NET is truly just the platform, right? All it is the patches that we push out once a month. It doesn't count the cost of your server, the security, and things like that. This is not just software, but it's these services that are deployed along with it, software as a service for the entire municipality. So what that really looks like is you're eliminating hardware expenses. You don't need a physical server anymore, so you don't have to secure that. Streamlined licensing, so we have a site-wide license, right? You don't pay per user or anything like that. You can have as many people on the platform as you want. It doesn't change the costs. But this allows us to more quickly push out updates and things like that and keep the system in working order. No emergency repairs that you have to worry about, right? No middle of the night calls to your MSP or your IT provider to help with a server failure, right? That's all on us. We completely own that. Another one is disaster recovery. So I don't know what disaster recovery policy you all have in place today. A lot of our customers, they'll create backups of their data every so often. Maybe you do it every day, every month, something like that. In our case, we actually back up the data every 15 minutes, every day, and every week. We keep those backups for a period of time, and because we do the first series of backups is what you call a SQL log backup, because we're able to do that every 15 minutes, we can do what's called a point-in-time restore. So if you needed to go back, the risk of data loss is limited to that 15-minute time span, right? That's very, very minimal. It's very different from, if you do back it up every week, you're looking at potentially a week of data loss or a month, and that gets risky when you're talking about payroll, when you're talking about producing invoices, taking in revenue, and things like that. So, couple of words on implementation. So, if the township were to decide to go this route, whether it's today or tomorrow, BSNA takes on 90% of the effort when it comes to the implementation. So, at any given year, we may handle 130, 150 implementations in a year. This is our full-time job, and we kind of joke, you guys have your own full-time jobs, and that's not converting data, right? Let us do that for you guys. We don't need you to extract your data. We don't need you to map the conversion or anything like that. Let us do that for you, and we'll help you out. There's also a training process as well, and this slide kind of outlines what that 9-ish month process looks like. So we start with project planning, and then we'll present a schedule to you that you get to sign off on. And a lot of municipalities, there are certain times of year where you just don't want to go live, right? Every township in the world wants April and May, right? Why is that? It's because it's before your permits get busy. It's after March Board of Review, right? And it's after 1099 season and W-2 season in January. That's when everybody wants to go. And so that's booked out for the next eternity, basically. Not really, but it starts with project planning. So you'll get to sign off on a schedule. We'll agree to that together. We want to make sure it happens at a time that makes sense for you. And then we'll do preliminary data extraction and configuration. So we're going to grab a backup of your data. We're going to look at it. We're going to take it back to the office with us, and we're going to, go elbows deep into that and see what we're getting into. We'll also then do a final conversion immediately before go live. So typically you go down on a Thursday afternoon. You're down for Friday. Just hold those receipts, hold those invoices. We actually use those as training aids on Monday when we bring you back up and running on a Monday. It's a really good way to learn how to use the system, and then we're with you for several days of go live training as well. So it's not like we just flip the system on and say, have fun with it. We're there with you for that support as well. And then you have access to our upgrade implementation team for about a week or two after that as well. So if you don't get routed back to the normal support queue just yet, you continue to work with our upgrade team while we get you comfortable and make sure you're ready to rock and roll. So that's my piece. Are there any questions about the product before I hand it over to Joel to talk about the services and some things that we've changed?
Jonathan?
Yes,
What
trustee.
about security? I mean, people in the public go online, they're gonna be concerned about security, hacking, that kind of stuff like that.
Yeah. So a couple of things that we do to restrict the URL. So first of all, the bsacloud.com URL is restricted. The IP addresses overseas cannot access it at all, right? So that's one thing that we do. Another thing is that we employ multi-factor authentication. So you might use some MFA today, whether it's Duo Mobile or Microsoft's native MFA. You can use either one with us, but that's really a great way to secure any web-based system, because then you get that push notification to your phone or a text to your phone or an email. That way they know it's you and it's not a bad actor. So that's one of the best ways to.
And that would be available to the public?
The BSA.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. BSNA is what we use in the office to do all of the stuff. There are portals where the public can come in and pay bills. They can open building permits. They can ask for inspections. All of the things that we've been doing on .NET right now to garner efficiencies.
Well, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, no, that part is what we're talking about here is what the township would be working on through the building department, treasury department, assessing department, clerk's department.
Internal, in other words.
Yeah, it's the internal side. So
It's all internal.
Yeah, there's the BSA
Okay.
Online Resident Portal, and it just takes a peek at the back end, so this would replace the .NET in-house internal.
Yes, trustee Shapiro.
You mentioned the implementation earlier and that you would take 90% of the workload. What's in the 10% and how long will that take? How many staff hours roughly could be, expected from that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So there's a little bit of involvement pre-implementation, right? We'll need some help getting access to your server so we can do a data extraction. And then we'll need really just a time commitment to help us do your part in managing the project beforehand, right? Like agreeing to schedules. If we are going to do any type of, if we're changing our chart of accounts or something like that, just get us what you need, right? So we can implement it in the system for you ahead of time. It's pretty hands off before the implementation or the training actually begins. And then really where the time commitment is in that 2-week period, the 2 or 3 days of pre-go live, right before when we do that final extraction, and then the 1 to 2 weeks of go live training where we're available. That first week is the busiest. We typically train in, we'll do classroom style training, or we'll train in groups of modules. So we might train on general ledger, accounts payable, and cash receipting in a couple of hours, right? And so we'll need people to be present for the training. So that's really all we ask for, is the time commitment for the training.
So you won't need like the entire staff, so the office here can stay open to the public for.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Trustee Wagner had your hand up.
Yeah, what are the downsides and the risks of going from a desktop application to a cloud-based in this case?
Yeah, yeah. So from a security standpoint, it really is only upside on the security standpoint. So, we've had customers ask us over the years, isn't my data more secure in my local environment than up in a cloud, right? And, we might, the response that I sometimes have to that is, let's look at what is your IT budget, right? How much can you spend on security at the township, at your village, or what have you? Look at what BS&A can spend. This is all we do. Look at what, we use Microsoft Azure for our cloud environment, right? We work with them, we're a Microsoft partner. They spend in the billions, right? Maybe even trillions of dollars, who knows, in security. So being able to tap into those resources from a security standpoint is so far beyond even what we could do if we were trying to do this by ourselves. We actually, at one point, we looked at, before we started working with Azure, we looked at trying to create our own private cloud, is what it's sometimes referred to. If you're not working with Amazon Web Services, not working with Microsoft Azure. And after we kind of watched each cost pile up one after the other, we realized the staff that you would need to hire and the licenses that you would need and things like that, we realized this makes no sense. We need to work with Microsoft or AWS and kind of piggyback off the infrastructure that they already have built. And then what comes along with that is the investment that they have in security there. Some customers have mentioned that a downside to being in the cloud is my data isn't here physically, right? It's in a cloud. How do I access it? Well, we have some things on our roadmap that allow for that data to be more accessible, right? When we release our API at the beginning of 2026, we'll have more options for pulling data out of the system and storing it here, if that's something that you wanted to do.
But currently, if the internet goes down, everything goes down, right?
Yeah, that is true. It is internet.
Same today.
Well, no, you're hosted locally on a server, so you shouldn't be internet.
All of the outside activities is done.
The outside activities, sure.
That's where we gain most of our efficiencies.
The other question I have is, what kind of learning curve is this going to be for staff?
It definitely varies user by user. So I'll tell you, when I first started learning cloud myself, I used to be in implementation for BS&A, and when I first started learning cloud myself, it felt different, right? I couldn't quite find everything that I was looking for, right? It took me maybe a month personally, and then I couldn't look back at that, to be honest. I think most customers, you give it about 2 or 3 months, because you've got some processes you only do every so often, right? I mean, W-2s you do once a year.
Sure.
So some of those things just require a little bit more help because they're seasonal processes. But usually we find there's a breakthrough after about a month. There's another breakthrough after about 3 months, and then right around that 6-month mark is when people start saying, I don't think I'd remember how to navigate .NET. One of our customers over at the city of Ionia, they were one of our beta sites when we first released cloud to our customer base, and the treasurer and finance director there said it's all about breaking your muscle memory, right? When you're used to using, and this is true with any software, right, or really anything, you're used to using something in the exact same way. You've been using it for 10 or 15 years, and you have to click in a different spot on the screen to do the same function. There's some of that, right? So his advice has always been break the muscle memory.
Okay.
Then you get there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question. When will you stop supporting .NET?
We do not have a date yet.
It will go away though, correct?
It will go. It has to someday.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
There's no timeline on that yet. We are eliminating reliance on some of the county government functions like LAMs and things like that. This brings it in-house, correct?
Yeah, so from what I understand, you've got your tax and assessing data, right, is
Yes.
hosted at the county. So this would bring your tax and assessing data into cloud. It would bring your financial management modules into cloud, so they would actually integrate and talk to one another now instead of being in two separate siloed instances.
So right now, we have to go between those two systems and physically work the both systems to get it together.
Right.
Correct.
How long does it take to get on the timeline to get the cloud going? You have a waiting list right now, don't you?
We have a bit of a waiting list. Right now, I think we're floating, so we do have to work with the county, Oakland County, to pull your tax and assessing data out, and there's certain times of year that work better than others, right? So we coordinate pretty closely with them to ensure that this is a smooth process, right? And so once factoring that element in, we typically find you're right around 9 months from contract execution to go live.
9 months.
I have one more question.
Let me get Treasurer Ferrari first.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
right,
said,
I'm
hey,
not-
well, go ahead, Trustee Wagner.
Is there if there's a problem during the transition period, is there some kind of a rollback plan?
What do you?
A rollback plan in order to, if the transition wasn't working, is there an issue of going back to the old system? And that's what I mean by rollback.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, so we don't shut .NET off when you go live on cloud. We do make it read-only for a period of time, but that's not something that we control in perpetuity. We really only do that so we can ensure we balance everything out between
Right.
the systems, right? Because if we pull that data on a Thursday and then somebody inputs a receipt on a Friday, we're going to be scratching our heads on why things don't balance.
Don't match. Don't match.
Frustrating. No, so we don't shut off .NET. The risks, or I guess the hurdles that we would be faced with if we had to, which to my knowledge we've never done that. We've never needed to. There could be an instance out there that
It's always a first.
I've never heard. Yeah. Whatever. The risks to that would be how much data have we inputted into cloud, and then to be aware that we don't have a conversion, again to my knowledge, written to go from cloud back to .NET. Why would we do that, right? We only have the conversion written from .NET to cloud. So those would be some unknown risks that we would have to evaluate.
Okay. Thank you.
Questions? Are there any other questions? All right.
Those are some really good questions. So for those of you who don't know me or haven't had a chance to meet me yet, my name is Joel Champ. I'm your account manager for Oxford Township. So I am the guy that you would want to reach out to if you have any kind of questions or anything of that you've heard about or want to know more about or something like that. Even support related in terms of like, hey, I put in this support ticket. Where are we at with it? If it's time sensitive or something like that, and you hear silence or for whatever reason, I'd be a great point of contact for you over at PSNA. So one of the things I'm going to talk about now is some of the current enhancements that we have going on as of recently. And the great thing is that recently at our engagement, one of the big talks was around AI. So using baking in an artificial intelligence into our cloud system to be able just to enhance things for you and to make a better experience for all of the users. So one of the things is this AI chatbot. So the cool thing about this is, as opposed to now, if you're going to be doing some kind of a search in the help section for, this is something I only do once or twice a year. I don't really remember, all the different steps for it. New staff, even veteran staff, again, some things that you do only ever so often. You can just type in that question into here, and it'll actually break down for you step by step on how you would go about doing that. For this one is, how do I add a permit? Now, the cool thing about this is it'll continue to learn off of past questions because it's pulling from our database and our archives and questions that people have asked before. And so it's going to constantly curate itself and only get better over time. And this is a really great feature add-on to that help section. But one of the greatest things about it is that it directly affects our support, because a lot of the questions that come into support, and sometimes myself, is those one-off questions, right? Hey, do you have any documentation on this? Do you have a video on how to do this particular function? So by having that AI chatbot in this particular study, again, for a small study group of our cloud customers, we saw that in October of 2024, what was typically a 60 to 70 minute response time, actually we were able to drop below 40 minutes. which is huge, because what that does is that frees up the support staff to answer those more in-depth repair-based questions, or those questions that have to go a little bit deeper in the weeds. So that's something that we're seeing a direct effect of those AI enhancements that we've made. And then also we have this in-app guidance. So again, if you're actually doing some kind of a function or task, you would just kind of float over that little question mark that you see up there, and it'll ask you, hey, do you want to see the process for this? How you go about doing whatever you're trying to accomplish. Again, this is really good for any kind of staff members that are either new or just like trying to go into the recesses of their memory on how to do a specific task. We have a customer community type of platform that we're creating right now. It is in beta, and the cool thing about this is that we're able to allow our customers to see any kind of past support tickets. Currently you may find yourself going through old emails or something like that. What did they say to do again? Or did we ask this before? And that kind of thing. So this will actually not only allow you to look through those past support tickets, but then also be able to access some of our knowledge base. Some little training tutorials and things like that we're putting together, which is just a great add-on for our customers. You can see it there. That's again just some of the interface for it. And of course, if you're not already engaged in our webinars, these are a free, no cost courses and things like that happen throughout the month. We offer multiple courses throughout the month, and we tend to make them available around real specific seasons, like tax season, things like that, budgeting, both basic and advanced. And so you can just go on that link and be able to sign up for any of these courses. And again, this is just a nice add-on that that's become very popular. It's tend to grown a lot. So if you go back a number of months and you go into this month, you'll see, wow, we're offering a lot of courses now. So it's really great. And just as a quick snapshot, currently we have over 630 customers that are live or in our queue to adopt the cloud platform. We have over 43 counties that are currently going through the scoping and discovering process, including your own county, Oakland County. A much longer process, but still they are in the discovery phase currently right now. And then it's over 740 plus municipalities that are in the position as you are today, evaluating and trying to build out a roadmap and towards our platform. I myself, because the majority of my customers are in Oakland County, I found myself knee-deep in everything that's going on in the county right now and all the changes that they're making and how that's affecting all of our customers. In fact, I'm going to be probably in one of the meetings that some of you may find yourself in tomorrow, just to kind of figure out, okay, what's going on in the county currently, especially like what Keegan was talking about with tax and assessing and moving that over into your own instance and what that looks like. So I know there's been a lot going on, especially since last spring. So I've been involved in all of it. That being said, any other further questions at this time?
Yes, David. Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, sir. When you say 630 backlog, is that just Michigan or is that worldwide?
So this is based off of a lot of our Michigan-based customers. So yeah, these are just pure Michigan numbers.
Okay.
So yeah, so again, these are either they are live or they're just in the process of getting into our queue and being scheduled out.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Clerk Wright.
Yeah, going back to the AI issue there. We're currently looking at getting a company to support our AI, and you indicated that the response time was down to 60 minutes. So if I ask a simple question as in, who's the supervisor of Oxford Township, would it take 60 minutes to get that answer?
No, not necessarily. So basically, that time study was actually done on what is the support response time from our support team currently, as opposed to what would take a matter of seconds for you to put into our AI chatbot. Now, our AI chatbot is based off of our internal database, so it's going to be function related based on the modules and things like that, and just the task and functionality of the platform itself. So that time study showed how it lowered the response time of our support staff to our customers that were contacting them. And it was a direct result of the AI chatbot that they used for those smaller questions that were kind of clogging up the system a little bit. and the response time.
All right. Also, the current .NET equipment, is that disposed of? Or do we hang on to it? Or
I mean, it belongs to you. It's however we do have some customers that hold on to those servers. The shelf life on those things aren't necessarily the best, but it belongs to you. Your data belongs to you, so that's something that you would just hold on to.
I guess maybe my last question is, you have very many municipalities and all that. Do you foresee yourself getting so big that the ability to service your customers becomes a problem?
Oh, not at all. We are leaps and bounds growing our team out. That's how I ended up coming over to BSNA. We've seen, even just in the amount of time that I've been around, I've seen a lot of these departments continue to grow. There is, there always is a string as we're balancing between two different platforms, because we do have to support both platforms. But all of our enhancements and everything like that are going into the cloud system, and that's where the amount of money and everything that we've put into it is really being reflective of how much our teams are growing out internally to support that. And honestly, our support times are unheard of in the industry currently right now, for how, like, a response as well as finding resolution. So,
All right, thank you.
yes,
Any other questions? Yes.
Just one more. The AI chatbot, does it have access to any of the township data?
no, it's everything that's within our database in terms of our support-related questions and things like that. If you were to go into a help section right now and things like that, this is everything just within BSNA, not within your particular database.
Okay, so that data,
It's more of a how-to.
the township data is kept contained and private from everything else, and the AI can't get to it.
That is correct.
Thanks.
Board's pleasure. Click right.
Yeah, I think based upon the backlog we're seeing in the 9-month window, we should probably move to actually get on the list to actually sign up for this cloud program.
So my question is, what do we do to get on the list?
So currently, our next steps would be to have a meeting to talk about what this roadmap looks like and begin those discussions. And then we just basically go from there. We draft up a contract to be presented to you as well. And then on down the process line from there, and then whenever you decide it's appropriate to sign to move forward, to be approved, then our project management team contacts you, so on and so forth, and they start to develop that project plan.
Can you have the timeline prepared for our December meeting?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we'll put that on the agenda.
Okay, sounds good, sir.
Any other questions?
What kind of fee do you require to execute the contract?
So that's going to be based on what that particular uplift may be between the .NET system and so basically it's broken up into two different sections. You have an annual cost, and then you have a one-time pro service cost. That's project management, so on and so forth, and all the work and the training and implementation and things like that, the setup, customizations. So in that next, in between now and December is when we would meet to go over all those line items to let you know what that uplift would look like.
Now, you did say this is going to save us money, right?
Oh, absolutely. No, it sounds like speaking out of both sides of your mouth, right? No, that's a very good point. So basically, it's one of those more, so a lot of the return on investment is not having those, not just IT hours spent, but depending on the age of your servers, those need to be replaced. All the SQL licensing involved with those. And then just again, the personnel hours to maintenance, update, so on and so forth and things like that. And that's really a lot where the cost savings comes in, especially if you're looking to increase your, your security infrastructure. We take on a lot of that as well.
That would be all prepared then for our December look at.
I would like to understand what our costs are today.
That would all be ready to
That'll
go in December,
That'll be pulled together.
by December.
Okay, that'd be great.
Trustee Shapiro?
Back to my question earlier, when we execute the contract and get on that 9-month list, what is the monetary commitment from the township?
Yeah.
at that time?
No, that's a great question. Basically, so our invoicing isn't all done at once. It's broken up over a period of time. So that initial invoice will be a percentage of the implementation cost, which is what is the percent of now?
It's like 20 to 30% of the total proposed.
At the time of signing the
That is
contract?
correct, sir, yeah.
Thank you.
And also that scheduler will be provided for you as well.
Joe, can I share the preliminary numbers that we talked about? An idea?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Joe and I talked about it. Right now, we're paying about 17,000 a year. You go to 45,000 a year, around 47,300 as implementation cost.
Could you repeat that, please, Joe?
Right now, we pay about 17,000 a year. I go to 45,000 yearly. There's a one-time implementation cost, of roughly 47,300.
So going up by 30,000 a year?
Correct.
But that doesn't include,
We're gonna work all those details out, so let's not try to disseminate that
Just a rough
tonight.
idea.
interesting.
Yeah. We haven't taken into fact that we're gonna
Replace
save
servers.
money from the
The
county. We
hardware.
haven't taken into place the replacement of our servers, so let's get that detail
Yeah.
all ferried out and then we'll present that.
Exactly.
Good
Are
idea.
there any more questions for BSNA? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on, item number 7, public comment on items not on the agenda. During public comments, anybody that comes up to the mic will give 3 minutes to speak on any item that's not on the agenda. I see CJ jumped right up there.
I did. Good evening, board members. CJ Cronk, Communications and Grants Manager. Sorry. I just wanted to bring a few things to your attention. One, in the latest issue of the Michigan Township Focus, which is the magazine for the Michigan Townships Association, they wrote and published a feature story about Oxford Township becoming a Purple Heart community. And actually, this morning, a trustee from Schoolcraft Township reached out to me and requested a copy of my resolution because they want to do the same thing after reading that article. So we're encouraging other communities to do this. And 4 of the Purple Heart community signs have been erected on Seymour Lake Road, Lakeville Road, West Oakwood Road, and West Grainer Road. I worked closely with RCOC employees Gary Allison and Andrew Bateman, who were tremendously supportive and a huge help when it came to getting this done. And I want to thank the mayor of Utica City, Gus Calandrino, for providing the sign design for us. And 2 more Purple Heart signs will be erected on the north and south ends of M24. I'm currently working with engineer Sharp to make that happen right now. And Oxford Township's historical marker program had an extremely successful first year. 4 markers have been placed, and I'm very pleased to announce that I've secured sponsorships from 7 businesses, organizations, and members of the public to fund the creation and placement of an additional 4 markers next year. And I also have over 50% funding in the bank right now for a 5th marker. And I'm currently working on a grant application to fund 4 markers on top of that. So next year, we could be looking at placing anywhere from 4 to 9 more historical markers. So the program is going very well, and I want to thank all the donors and sponsors and companies I've been working with. And finally, I wanted to invite American Legion Post member, U.S. Army veteran and Purple Heart recipient Darren Hafeli, and Post 108 Commander Fred Sensulo up here, because they would like to present us with something. Gentlemen.
Thank you, CJ. Greatly appreciated. I'm honored to be here this evening to introduce to you the gentleman who's responsible for the Purple Heart signs in the township. And I just want to say a few words about him. Because not only did he take on this initiative for the Purple Heart Award, but he's also the author of the E988 Veteran Suicide Hotline. I don't know if anybody realizes that or not. That Veteran Suicide Hotline, E988, has actually reduced the PTSD deaths of veterans almost in half because of those 200 locations that are now located around the country. Darren was just recently promoted to commander of the Bay City Purple Heart.
Military Order of the Purple Heart.
The Military Order of the Purple Heart. Darren?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The Military Order of the Purple Heart Special Recognition Award is bestowed with pride to the Township of Oxford, Michigan, with the dedication and support honoring the America's combat wounded veterans, becoming the Purple Heart Township, presented by the Patriot members of the Department of Michigan Military Order of the Purple Heart, USA. Jack?
Oh, actually, once you decide, go ahead. Fred, you must start. There you go.
Here you go.
All right. All right, thanks, Joel.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
It's kind of funny.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, good evening. My name is Amanda Shelton, and my husband and I have the farm at Oakwood and Barber Road. We've had it there for the last 7 years or so. I'm here today because I'm with the Metamora Hunt, and I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce or reintroduce this organization to you. It has been in the community, I think many of you probably know, for nearly a century. We've given you a copy of our annual that we put out. On pages 24 and 25 gives you a bit of a snapshot of our 100-year history in this area. The area that's known as the Metamora Hunt encompasses parts of Oxford, Addison, Metamora, and Dryden. It is truly a community effort. The hunt is not just about the riders. It is about the riders, the landowners, the non-riding members, and all the support structures are in the community. Our numbers right now, we have about 100 non-riding members, and it really is a unique thread in this community that has spanned time. You will see in the magazine, there are a number of events that we host that draw from all over. We do trail conservation, we do land conservation. We have an Earth Day where we go out every spring on Earth Day and we clean up all of the roads in our areas. The members come out and we have an annual stable tour that draws 400 to 500 people to the area to have a look at some of the unique stables that are in the area. Metamora Hunt is one of 3 hunts in Michigan, but it is the only hunt that relies solely on private land. And this organization could not exist without the community, and this community wouldn't be what it is without the hunt. It is a very unique attribute that we have here. So I would encourage you to take a look at the magazine, get a sense of some of the things that we do, the impact that it has on our community, and keep it in mind when you're looking at master plan changes, land zoning changes, because without the rural area, we couldn't have an equestrian community. Without land, we can't have farms or food, and so I really encourage you to take that in consideration as we get land development pressures that move into the area. We do have a calendar of events in here. It gets posted on our website every year. The website is in the magazine. I will email my contact information to the clerk tomorrow. If any of you have any questions or want to be involved or just want to come out and see what it's about or be at any of our events, please feel free to contact me at any time. I could talk your ear off all day about the FBs or the Metamora Hunt.
Thank you very much. Kept that right to 3 minutes.
Can I have a copy? I came kind of late. Do you have extra copy?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Happy to share.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Margaret.
Hi, my name's Margaret Culver. I live on Delano Road, and I just want to make a few comments that support the horse community here. And our horse community does support multi-million-dollar properties. We have growing hay industry that is becoming big business in our area. We have, in case you don't know, at least one international horse show. We have 3 statewide summer horse show series. We have several local horse show series in the summertime. We also host training clinics in this area. And what that means to our local economy is that we have people coming in using hotels, restaurants, gas, going to local vendors like Tractor Supply, Covered Wagon, equine gatherings. So really the horse industry out here is very tied into financially the county, the township. And if you want to take a look at the book, you can see some of the companies that support are not only local landowners, but we have here on this page wealth management, myself as a local artist, horse feed. We have other supporters that companies that support high-end clothing and jewelry, real estate, horseshoeing, management companies. Just take a look through here. And you might be surprised at the number of businesses that are tied into our community because of the horse show community. And I also want to stress that it's not just a small community. If you take a look at some of the activities, you can see the number of people that are coming in to partake in horse show activities and other horse activities in this area. Opening day, we have, just a lot of people coming in, for that. We have hunter paces, a lot of people come in. We have a stable tour once a year where certain private stables are open, and you can go and visit the stables, and we have a lot of people outside our community coming in to partake of our horse show activities here. So it's very important, I think, when you're taking a look at perhaps making changes or changes to things that might impact our rural horse show community, that you be aware of this, that it really is an important part of our township. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public like to come up and speak? Seeing none, moving on to item 8. We'll start with Board of Trustee comments. We'll start with Trustee Charles tonight.
Just one comment from committee reports. Mr. Wright made me think about this on the no-has. It's in the packet, but I want to reiterate a couple numbers real quickly. He mentioned about the servers, and Mr. Wright would be interested to know that no-has would include electronic equipment. This past year, I wrote down, it's in the packet, so it's just like, we got rid of safely 201,000 pounds of paint instead of being dumped in backyards and things like that. So that's nice. And 179,000 pounds of electronic equipment. And one of the numbers I think we'll all like is Oxford had the highest number of participants of any community, anyone. We were first place, and Lower Oxford was in second place. So good job for Oxford.
Thank you. Trustee Shapiro.
Supervisor Curtis, I have a couple of things I want to discuss tonight. Would you rather me discuss them here under item 8 or under item 18?
18. It's your choice, sir.
We'll both split it.
Go ahead.
Let me do half and half.
Yes.
I wanted to address something that I have addressed with Supervisor Curtis prior to my appointment on the board, and it has to do with the crossing at Seymour Lake Road and near Dunlop. I happen to live in the subdivision right off of Brookfield, and there is a crossing just a little bit to the, I guess that'd be west of that entrance to the subdivision. And it goes right across the road, and then you're pretty much walk a few feet to Dunlop Road. I know a few years ago there was a situation with the flashing lights both there and further down east in the village, and they were removed. I understand from Supervisor Curtis, and I can see the issue where those lights would actually give people a false sense of security. My wife, and our dogs frequently walk around the neighborhood, and we go across that transom from the south side of Seymour Lake to the north side. And it's not infrequent that, there are cars going very, very fast, where it goes from 50 soon to be 40. This past weekend, we crossed the transom, and there was a truck coming, and he kept speeding and speeding. We didn't know if he would stop. He finally did stop, but it was eerily close to really hitting us. And he gestured inappropriately to us as well. So I bring this up tonight because what I fear is that there's not going to be. I'm asking for a change, right? Either a yellow light or something. But I'm fearful that on our watch, or someone else's watch later on, the issue with there's kids crossing could lead to a fatality or an injury, and I don't want it to take that type of incident to realize that we should have done something about it. The one in the village is a little safer because it's 25 there. People know that you'll probably get a ticket or may get a ticket, but this one is extremely unsafe and goes very fast. I would like to put on the agenda for the next meeting that we discuss this further, and I know that we have to coordinate with the county on this issue, but I'm telling you firsthand that I'm very concerned about that crossing, and I would be very, very upset if something happened to somebody there, knowing that there's real risk there. So I implore fellow trustees here to join me in trying to resolve that situation before we have a problem.
Thank you.
The second thing I want to mention, since I'll just do it now, when we drive into this wonderful township, going from Lake Orion to Oxford, it's beautiful neighborhood, beautiful area. We have the family type feel to it. The latest development that I'm noticing is when you start approaching Drainer Road, you get to Drainer and Seymour Lake Road. This is not a traffic discussion, by the way. This one's different. What do you see? You see 4 corners. 3 of the 4 are vacant. Chase Bank, Rite Aid, and a gas station that I happen to know has some serious problems. Not just environmentally, there's some litigation and stuff. So we have the entrance to our community, and there is a small sign that says, which is very hard to see, but we have 3 out of 4 corners as you enter our community that are vacant and don't look very good as well. They're not kept well. And if that's a visitor or even our welcome to Oxford, that seems to be really concerning to me. And I don't know what we can do. I don't know who the landlords are, who the tenants are, what's going on. Obviously, we know Rite Aid has had trouble, but I would like to see if we could find a solution so that when somebody comes into Oxford Township who's never been there before, they don't see 75% of an intersection, which is pretty big, vacant. And to be honest with you, it's not just vacant, it's kind of an eyesore. So I wanted to raise that point to really look at how we can maintain and beautify this community for all those who enter.
Thank you. Trustee Wagner?
Thank you. So towards the end of last month, I had the opportunity to attend several MTA-sponsored trustee workshops over a couple of days. Workshops covered issues relevant to our township, things like sources of revenues, financial reports, legislative impacts to our township, and fiduciary responsibilities, just to name a few. So the trainings were good and really well done by MTA. The second point I have is that I hear you might have a chance of seeing the Northern Lights tonight. So when you go out, look north, let your eyes adjust, and see if you can see them. Thank you.
Thank you. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yep. Yesterday, I was working on Veterans Day and needed some assistance. I want to thank Supervisor Curtis and Deputy Clerk McCullough for being available on your days off. Appreciate you guys being available. Winter 2025 tax bills are getting ready to go out. Hopefully within the next couple weeks, they'll be in mailbox hopefully by December 1st. That's all I have.
Thank you. Clerk Wright?
Yeah, a few things here. We just got through with our school board or school elections a week ago yesterday, and just some statistics. We had a 29.32% turnout. That's 5,350 voters out of 18,248 voters. Of those 5,350, 3,375 were absent voter ballots, which makes up 63.68% of those.
63.
Precinct votes were 1,975. And we're gearing up now for 2026 elections and midterms. And just so you're aware, we are redistricting the precincts. We're reducing down from 7 precincts down to 5. So some precinct voters will get new voter ID cards because we're consolidating the precincts. So we'll get that going in 2026. So we'll have those ready to go, and just stay tuned on that. The last thing I'd like to bring up is that we show a lot of recognition for a lot of people, and what I'd like the board to consider is a recognition for Clarence Anderson, some sort of memorial. I don't know what that would be, but I think it would just be proper to give somebody some recognition for the time that they served Oxford Township, which is almost 4 decades of service to this community. So that's my thinking, my thoughts, but I think we should do something as a board to honor her. Here. That's my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Colvin?
I'll reserve my comments for the end.
Okay. First off, my comments would be great job on handling this voting to all the members of the township, working Saturdays, Sundays, emptying ballot boxes in the village and early voting in Orion Township and registering people here being open on Saturday and stuff. They handled it very well. One glitch kept somebody there till 9:30 at night. Worked out, but everybody worked well and got them all done. So that's pretty good. I'm gonna address Paul's comment about the Seymour Lake Road and Dunlap. Seymour Lake Road and Dunlap is on the road commission safer streets guidelines right now. The road committee, as you may not be aware of, is working on paving Dunlap Road from our township out to M24. And there are many considerations being taken under advisement for the pedestrian crossing. And I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag on those yet because they haven't decided what they are, but they're going to be monumental. The small sign out in front of the Rite Aid, we tracked down the new property management owner who had not paid the bills for the landscape company. They went out and cleaned that sign up. But Paul, if you want to buy those 3 buildings, they are for sale. You can invest your money and bring some wonderful businesses to Oxford Township and make it a wonderful place to look at. But we are on, our ordinance officer is on top of that corner daily, working with the property managers and the property owners. But when someone wants $4.2 million for their building and it's worth 1 million, you're gonna not get anything done there. So I encourage you to work with those owners and come to.
What about cannabis?
That's what this board can do.
Yeah.
Other than that, we'll move on to the public hearing. Item number 9.
I move to open the public hearing at 7:32 PM to discuss CDBG suggested funding for 2026.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Clerk Wright. Roll call.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Public hearing is open. Are there any members of the public that want to speak on the CDBG funding for 2026? The Community Development Block Grant funding.
Is there a list of the projects or?
Public hearing.
Pardon me?
It's a public hearing. It's for them.
It's for members who want to come up and request funding. Joe, Treasurer Ferrari, do you
If
have?
you'd like for me to do that, I can use your public hearings. It's for the public. We close it, then we tell what we want to do.
Yeah.
That's how we've done it.
Right now, there is nobody in the public that's requesting funding through the CDBG.
I move to close the public hearing to discuss CDBG funding for 2026 at 7:33 PM.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Clerk Wright. Roll call.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
This year for block grant fundings, we have.
Well, do you want to save that to item 13?
You are correct.
Thank you.
Apologies.
Item 10, first readings of zoning ordinances. Our planner, Mateo Pasalacqua, is here tonight. We can go through these first readings of the text amendments. I'll take 10A, zoning ordinance 67A.045, text amendment to update Article 5, Section 5.3. Me or you?
I can, whichever way you want to go. I can take it from there. You can.
Well, I can start you off with currently the zoning ordinance does not allow for the outdoor display or sales of products at gas stations. However, most, if not all, gas stations in the township utilize some level of display. So when a conflict between the ordinance and modern day market demands was presented to the Ordinance Review Committee, board members, in front of you is a red line copy of the ordinance changes. And Mateo, would you take any questions? I'll start. Go ahead. You have Clerk Wright?
Do I have questions?
Yes.
I did have questions, but I've talked with Mr. Pasalacqua for about half an hour on these, so
Okay.
I think my issues are resolved.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I move to approve the first reading of proposed text amendments to update Article 5, Section 5.3, of zoning ordinance 67A.045 as presented, and schedule a second reading and consideration of adoption for the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees meeting on December 10th, 2025, and authorize the Township Clerk to publish same in accordance with state law.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item 10B, zoning ordinance 67A.046, text amendment to update Article 6, Section 6.2. Board members, in your packet today was consideration giving to allow and regulating the use of accessory solar panels in all of township zoning districts. Are there any questions on that zoning ordinance?
What's currently allowed now?
So currently you have accessory structure guidelines, but they don't speak specifically to the use of like solar panels. So generally the rule of thumb in that instance is that it's not permitted.
Like I've seen a neighbor in my subdivision, look, he's got solar panels on his house. That's not allowed?
On his roof?
Yes.
So rooftop rooftop is permitted more or less through building code. What this ordinance addresses is kind of supporting that, but then also establishing guidelines for ground mounted.
Any other questions?
I do.
Yes, trustee Charles.
What are the issues with the battery storage with lithium? Because I read all the articles about the fires. I had to talk to some of the people at the townships who are concerned about lithium fires cannot be extinguished. They're a huge problem.
So I know I've got Keith behind me. I'm not going to actually put him on the spot, but what I can say is, yeah, there's a lot of information out there about battery storage. I do know that the building department from time to time does see these indoor battery packs, kind of as opposed to the generator for backup energy during like a power outage, and those are permitted through building code. So I'm not saying that necessarily answers the question about safety, but my assumption would be that kind of through the vetting process, if building code allows you to put them in your home, then what we proposed here would be in lines with as much as we know about lithium battery issues and life safety issues.
Did you say that?
Any other questions? Clerk Wright?
I just want to reiterate what we talked about earlier so that the board can hear this, but if there are already existing ground-mounted solar panels, those are so-called going to be grandfathered in and not be addressed as violating the ordinance.
So it's a gray area. And the reason I say that is because if someone has an approved accessory structure that does not conform to today's standards, and we were to get a complaint about that, they would be grandfathered in under non-conforming status. If they did it without permitting, review, anything, it's kind of fair game from that point of us being able to say, you never received an initial approval for this. We would then review it against the standards if you adopt them this evening. If they meet the standards, great. If they don't, it would likely be a trip to the ZBA.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Okay, does this allow like solar farm? Say I have 100 acres in horse country. I want to make a solar farm.
Nope, you have a utility scale solar ordinance. We worked through that with the state law that came through about a year and a half ago. This specifically references accessory to. So now it could, so we did receive interest from both homeowners and business owners. So it could be someone looking to put a panel in their backyard. It could be an industrial site looking to utilize, 4 acres of their site that they're not using for anything else. But it could not be the principal use of the property to be a 100-acre span of solar panels.
Oh, it's a support system.
Correct. It's accessory
Not
to.
a solar farm.
Okay.
Trustee Charles.
Could we hear from Chief Majestic about the lithium issue there?
Well, what's your question?
The question is, how safe is it?
I don't want to answer that.
I didn't answer that.
They'll answer that question that safely. The lithium battery storage, so when we start looking at this, the only way we're going to be able to regulate anything is if it's in businesses, right? We can't do anything about if they're putting it on their homes or storing it in their barns or, right? We don't know until we get there, right? I can tell you this, that we are not huge fans of large banks of lithium battery storage by any means. The lithium battery runoff and the ability for lithium batteries to run off, and when I say run off, it's they overheat and they just continue to go, and they do not extinguish without a lot of work and a lot of water and
And a lot of money.
that's definitely an issue. We even had an issue earlier this year with a former trustee who had a charger in their home, right, for their Tesla or their Mustang, and right, they run away quickly, and there's nothing we can do about that. As far as the storage though, I can guarantee you this, if we had anything as far as business or commercial wanting to do something to create storage type facility or storing large amounts, I guarantee we would be working very closely with the building department to make sure that everything's followed as best we can to the current standards. But they are they're brutal right now, you know. The ability, or the lithium battery has such ferocity when it does run away that it's, you know, it's scary. It is absolutely scary. So I don't, you know, we're not doing anything or saying anything that's not known already, right? But
Correct.
Say, yeah, you're putting us in a weird spot.
Trustee Charles?
So in voting for or against this, are we saying it's okay to have this, or are we saying we don't want it at all?
What? You're talking actually solar though.
Well, here.
Well, he brings up storage batteries.
Thanks.
So what you have in front of you tonight is, so it's solar panels on the ground or
You shut the mic off.
solar panels on the ground or on the roof. And then there's also language in there regarding whether or not there's a battery system associated with those panels and where that can be placed in the house to be screened. So that's what's in front of you this evening. The ordinance, I guess, to give some context, initially the conversation just revolved around the solar panels and the use thereof and where they can be placed. The ORC, kind of through the vetting process and looking at these systems, also brought up, kind of once we had the solar language developed, then kind of looked into the battery element of it and whether or not we should speak to regulating batteries that would be associated with these systems as well.
So,
Any other questions?
so this is to charge batteries, solar, but they're not necessarily lithium batteries, is it what you're saying, or it could be or could not be?
I guess I couldn't speak to specifications. I'm familiar with lithium batteries. I don't know if there's another type that could be associated with this type of storage.
I will say, a lot of the
Battery storage.
solar storage units that are in place now are not lithium. The newer ones that are going in are not lithium ion, they're Dakota lithium, so it is a different style of battery. So, and again, whole new realm that we're getting into. I can tell you from a fire service standpoint, I would prefer to see ground solar rather than on the roof, because of the added weight and the added stress it places on the structure. Even if we have a fire in the home or in a building that has nothing to do with the solar, that added weight when it's placed under the duress of the fire is going to make that structure much more dangerous to our people and to the residents or to the occupants. So I personally like to see them not on the building for that reason, though they're not as attractive, I will say that, right? When they're up on the house, you don't necessarily see them as much, or when they're up on a flat roof on a commercial structure, nobody sees them. But when they're on the ground, we are gonna see them, and so there's that.
Can I present just one question? If batteries weren't associated with the ordinance, right, do you have concerns with the panels or the conversation or the language that we have about where they can be placed and how and all that?
No, other than solar panels, as we indicated, aren't particularly attractive on a roof. I agree with that, but no, just the lithium batteries concern me with all the articles. And I've spoken with a couple other township officials in other areas who have similar concerns.
Okay.
So just
Back
Jack,
to the
maybe
board.
just finish that up real quickly. So would it be possible, or does it make sense would you potentially retune this to address that issue, or am I making a mountain of a molehill?
No, I mean, I think that there's an opportunity or there's an option here to send this back to the planning commission with concerns. I just want to make sure I understand them. And from what I'm hearing, your concern, and again, if it's mirrored by the other board members, is more associated with the life safety with the batteries, not so much people being allowed to have panels on the property.
Since we're in discussion mode, none of the words in here do not include any storage of batteries on the roof.
No, batteries.
Number one. Number two, it does include battery storage in this ordinance change, but it says along with ground or rooftop, accessory solar structures shall comply with the following requirements. So all battery storage will be included in a cabinet specifically designed for housing battery systems. That's not on a roof. Battery storage and enclosures shall be screened by evergreen plants. When not adjacent to a principal structure, the equipment shall be screened by evergreen plants on all sides. Said screening shall be included within 2 years of planting. Battery storage enclosure shall be no taller than 6 feet. Everything in battery storage proposed in this red-lined addition does not allow them on a rooftop, but allows them.
Correct.
Thank you.
That's odd.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Let's retune it.
Clerk Wright?
Yeah, but also it doesn't say you can't put them on the rooftop in this language.
I mean, we could add it. I don't, again, like most, what we see through building department for battery storage attached to or associated with the principal structure is within it, you know, in the garage or in the basement. This is just if for some reason the specification requires it to be outside, we're telling you, you know, if it's not attached to the principal structure, then it needs to be screened and it can only be of such a
So this is first reading. We could go and before the second reading, and you could add the verbiage that we do not want rooftop solar mounted battery storage. That fair statement?
Yeah, no batteries on the roof, yeah, we can, I think that's fine.
Well, my concern isn't just a rooftop, it's just lithium in general. I mean, when there are fires on the ground or on the roof, that's the material.
Yeah, that's like gasoline cans in your garage or outside. That's all, they're all dangerous, and
But
I
lithium
don't think
can't
they're
make
trying to
storage.
make them dangerous, but yeah, they are. We're learning.
Sorry.
Right.
No, with that, I don't know nothing about this. But anyway, is there like a limit you could put on the amount of lithium batteries that reduces the hazard?
I'm sure you can. I mean, I'm sure you could say not to exceed so many kilowatts of storage or gigawatt or wattage. And some research could be put into that. I guess I guess I'm tepidly saying you could. I'd want to do a little bit more research to understand what a reasonable regulation for that would be. More or less what we could add is that the amount of storage proposed would be to strictly serve, obviously, that property. So you could not store more power than what is necessarily needed to run a single-family house. But then that trickles into, okay, so that comes in, I'm not an electrical engineer, I don't know if the township has one on staff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pro bono. What do we do?
David?
I don't think that would actually add any value trying to specify, you know, storage capacity,
No.
to be honest.
What's the board's pleasure?
I would like to make a motion, or I move to approve the first reading of the proposed text amendments to update Article 6, Section 6.2 zoning ordinance 67A.046 as presented, and schedule the second reading. The second reading and consideration of the adoption for the Charter of Township, the Oxford Board of Trustees meeting December 10th, 2025, and authorize the Township Clerk to publish the same in accordance with state law, maybe with the one caveat is that you'll come back with some language to prevent batteries, which can clearly never be placed on roofs because it will crash through, but go ahead and put it in the ordinance anyway that people should not do that.
And you can have that for the second reading by December 10th?
Yeah.
I'll support.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Wagner, a second by trustee Colvin. Any further questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Shapiro,
Yes.
trustee Charles,
No.
trustee Colvin,
Yes.
treasurer Ferrari,
No.
clerk Wright, yes, supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay, item 10C, zoning ordinance 67A.047, text amendment to update Article 6, Section 6.15. Board members, in your packet is the first reading for general provisions of Section 1.5, seasonal and temporary outdoor sales and operation text amendment. Current ordinance language states that seasonal outdoor sales shall not exceed 90 days per year. Seasonal sales goes on to read what you can sell, And what this text amendment does is allows for an additional 90 days to be added if all the requirements are met and no violations were produced.
I move to approve the first reading of the proposed text amendments to update Article 6, Section 6.15 of zoning ordinance 67A.047 as presented, and schedule a second reading and consideration of adoption for the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees meeting on December 10th, 2025. Authorize the township clerk to publish same in accordance with state law.
I'll
I have a
second.
question.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Wagner, and we have a question by Trustee Shapiro.
So as I read this, it is actually an extension of up
Yes,
to 90 days?
yes,
So is it 90 days plus 90 days?
yes.
Why do we need 180 days? For
Oh,
seasonal,
no.
but for seasonal, I mean, I'd just like to understand the rationale behind having 180 days of seasonal ancillary, whatever you want to call it, when the season is only, 3 or 4 months.
Well, some seasons go from Mother's Day to Thanksgiving. Some go from 4th of July to New Year's. It depends on when you pull your seasonal outdoor sales application and put it in. Not everybody sells pumpkins for 180 days, but they may sell pumpkins in October and Christmas wreaths in December, and I'm trying to think, Valentine's Day hearts in February. So that would get them out to whatever works out for that vendor.
Okay.
Trustee Charles?
So this would be 180 days for seasonal, correct? That's what trustee.
Yes.
Would that really be seasonal if we're talking half a year?
Yeah.
That strikes me as, because that should not be seasonal, that's permanent.
Well, so
It's up to 180 days.
That's wrong.
So the initial term is 90 days. This would be a mechanism for the building official to extend an additional 90. But it doesn't necessarily mean that if you were selling flowers in your first 90 days, that you had to be selling flowers in the following 90 days.
Correct.
So more or less where the interest has come from is people who are selling seasonal, once the next season rolls in, they want to shift to another seasonal product. So flowers to pumpkins or produce or things of that nature. That, just to clarify what could happen under the extension if that's what someone was looking for.
Treasurer Ferrari?
And Mateo, let's say I'm selling flowers. I've got a good season going. I'd like another 20 days. This allows for that. Does that have to be 90
Doesn't
days?
have to be 90.
Could be 20, 30. Okay.
Correct.
It just gives you an extension past the 90 days.
And if if there's violations, there's been complaints, they're not complying with the plan, or they want to change it, then that extension does not have to be provided.
Trustee Wagner?
Just a comment, it just seems like this language offers some flexibility for vendors, and it just makes life a little bit easier for them to do business, and I think this is a good amendment.
Thank you. Trustee Shapiro?
What was the fuel behind making this amendment?
So there's been some interest from some temporary vendors, and as they came up on their 90 days and wanting to extend, and the current process, if they wanted to, would be that at the end of the 90 days, they would need to tear down their temporary setup. They would need to apply, send in a new application under kind of a new business name, just so that it's a separate application, kind of go through the same process again. That's typically a 2 to 3 week review, and then they could set back up. So essentially, there would be a complete tear down, brand new application, brand new process, then a complete new setup, so on and so forth.
If I wanted to open a flower shop in Sushi Thai's parking lot, and I got an outdoor sales permit from April, 90 days, then I wanted to sell hay bales and pumpkins the rest of the season, or fruits and vegetables in the fall, rather than tearing it down, they may be granted an additional 90 days so that they could stay there for 180 days. So, you've got almost a half a year of somebody selling something outside.
Supervisor Curtis.
I'm sorry.
Colvin, and then I'm on.
Thank you. Trustee Colvin.
I just wanted to make sure I'm clear. This is only for not the owners, it's tenants outside of the owner of the property.
It could be one or the other. If it's not the business owner that operates on the site permanently, they obviously need their permission to do so.
Right.
But a permanent owner of a property could apply for this as well. Well, would have to apply for this as well. So.
Yes. Clerk Wright.
Yeah, and on this here, we had an extended conversation on this too. To me, when you look at this ordinance, we're talking about Christmas trees, pumpkins, and similar items. But to me, it's like you don't need 90 days to sell pumpkins or Christmas trees. And I think that what you have is transient vendors coming into the township with no ownership, no tax base at all, and they just sell their wares, and they move on, and there's nothing left for the township to actually put the teeth into for people coming in. We experienced it, this was last fall with flower sales at Collier Lanes for that, so they come in for 6 months if this goes through. They sell what they want, they come back again for another 6 months, a year later, and they go ahead and get their sales. Back in the day, we had Bourdain's come into the township.
Right.
And they set up shop right where the Salvation Army is, right across from Harvest Time. Both sales didn't go that good. And what happens is they take those revenues away from our people that are paying taxes, and those people are still here. So to me, it's like, if you want 90 days to sell your stuff, that's fine. Maybe what you could do is split those 90 days up. You get 30 days to sell your pumpkins, 30 days to sell your Christmas trees, 30 days to sell your Mother's Day flowers, whatever you'd like. But I think that additional 90 days is definitely way beyond what's necessary and just catering to people that don't have any vested interest in the township. I mean, you could take food trucks, for example. You give them a 90-day thing, well, sales are going good, we want another one. We have issues with food trucks too. They come in, they jack their vehicle up, and so it's on blocks, and the tires are there, and they're there for the whole summer.
Sure.
So in my mind, 90 days is perfectly fine for seasonal items in Oxford Township. They don't need an extension.
I have another question. Who is the building official, the defined term in this, that is going to be deciding whether they're going to grant the 90 additional
The
days?
building official currently is Tim London.
Okay. He is the building official? Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Hearing no more questions, call the roll.
Okay. We'll go Trustee Charles,
No.
Trustee Shapiro,
No.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari,
No.
Clerk Wright, no. Trustee Colvin,
No.
and Supervisor Curtis.
No.
Good points, Curtis.
Item 10D. Board members, in front of you are some amendments to the Article 3, Safety Paths and Sidewalks of Chapter 42. They were drafted with the purpose of adding more defined standards as to when it would be appropriate to approve either a waiver from the ordinance of the requirement to construct a safety path or the pay in lieu of payment. The red line outline in front of you with the attorney opinion. If there's any questions, Attorney Ellis is here to address those for us. Clerk Wright.
He's on a roll today.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let you speak. Thank you, Supervisor Curtis. I just, when I reviewed this, it's like a lot of thought went into this, and I get that, that Treasurer Ferrari can appreciate as well as I can. We sit on the Safety Path Committee for a lot of years like that. One of my questions is that we're gonna switch to current construction pricing. And I guess Engineer Sharp may want to weigh in on that. How are you going to get current pricing? Because you give your engineer estimate, and you're basing that on probably bids that came in from previous projects.
No.
I don't want to, but I feel like I'm being summoned.
Got to have money.
Jim Sharp.
You want to raise your hand?
What?
This is
Yeah.
want me to raise or not?
An estimate is just that, we have data, from bidding projects that we have. You know, we just recently bid some safety path projects of our own. We see what other contractors on private jobs, you know, we ask for cost estimates. We base their bonds on those cost estimates. So we know what, you know, kind of the industry is seeing right now, you know. Obviously, asphalt prices go up and down with oil prices, and so, yeah, we take that into account when we do our estimates.
Okay. All right. So also what I saw in here is that, you know, we have, I guess, the ability to accept cash in lieu in full, partial, or total waiver. So the options that we're going to be looking at in the future.
If you look at the total ordinance, Attorney Ellis, please explain.
That is accurate. So the ordinance amendments give an avenue forward for the Board of Trustees to approve a waiver, either from the requirement for a developer to build a safety path or from the in lieu of payment. We do have that ability under our current ordinance. The difference was there weren't standards for the board to consider in making that decision. So these standards, which had input both from the Safety Path Subcommittee and Engineer Sharp and myself, will give the board more guidance as to when it should be approving a waiver for either the requirement to construct or the in lieu of payment. And those waivers will generally only be considered and approved if these standards under the ordinance have been shown as being met by the applicant.
And then if it's shown in the master plan, the layout and all that, there's no option to waive or there's no waiver for cash in lieu of. You put the path in, or the township accepts the cash in lieu of to put the path in later.
Correct. I think there is an option, and I can double check this for if there is some kind of geographical issue that wasn't necessarily understood at the time that the master plan had been enacted that would make it impossible to put a safety path in that area. That would obviously be, you know, a unique and extreme situation.
Because there are areas on the safety path network that will come into play.
Correct.
Case in point, probably East Rainer Road.
Yes.
On those lakes.
What happened is there still is the option of it is impossible to put in, but if you're building on an area that a safety path is on the safety path master plan, you shall install it. But if our ordinance states you should have a safety path on your development plan and you're not on the safety path master plan, you can still pay towards the safety path in lieu of fund.
Yeah, 3-step process.
Yes.
Yeah. Committee, commission, and township board.
Yes.
So one of the other ones was in section 10 on the appeal. It says a developer or an aggrieved party may seek judicial review. Does that mean they would petition the court?
They would have that right regardless of whether we have it in the ordinance, but generally, yes, if any final decision by a board is appealable to the circuit court.
Okay, all right.
All set?
Yeah, I think so. There's just a couple typos, but we can handle that.
All right, we clean that up before second reading.
Rebecca again, huh?
Man.
All right, any other questions?
I move to approve the first reading of the proposed text amendments to Article 3, Safety Paths and Sidewalks, Chapter 42 as presented, schedule second reading and consideration of adoption for the Charter Township of Oxford Board Trustees meeting on December 10th, 2025. Authorize the Township Clerk to publish same in accordance with state law.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Wagner. Are there any further questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Thank you. Chief, thank you very much. I have nothing for the fire department tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Item 12, Sharp Engineering Report. Board members, in your packet for November of 2025, Engineer Sharp put together all the projects going on in Oxford Township. Engineer Sharp is here to answer any questions, should you have any misunderstandings or clarification on his report. I look for questions.
Just a
Clerk
curiosity.
Wright.
The paving at Mount Pleasant Cemetery, is it completed?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, the paving portion is completed. We did that, the cemetery and safety path project together. Obviously, the weather kind of caught them.
Yeah.
So portions of the safety path have been completed. Per their schedule, they're going to be back in on Friday to complete the remainder of the asphalt portion of the safety paths, and then the following week with the concrete. But yes, Mount Pleasant Cemetery has been completed.
60 degrees on Friday.
That's opening day.
Yeah, no, Saturday is.
Oh, Saturday's that's right.
Yes.
I have a quick question.
Anything else?
Yes.
Anything on the new gas station north of town, or are we jumping the gun?
Excuse me?
New gas station in town, north of town? Is that,
No, he,
We have site plan application.
site plan application for it, yes.
any,
Nope. There's nothing.
Be on for December. Yeah, we believe it's going to be on for December planning commission.
Yeah, the site plan will go to the planning commission, and it's proposed to go in December.
I believe the reviews are in, but it's a special land use, so there's some. I'm just working with the applicant on a few loose ends, but I think it's not there.
Okay.
what's that?
All right, any other questions for Engineer Sharp? Hearing none. Treasurer Ferrari, item 13, just what you wanted to talk about tonight.
You got it, sir.
Thank you.
Block grant, this year it's a competitive process. It's no longer allocated a certain amount of money. I talked to the block grant folks and said, guys, for us to be competitive, what do you want to see? They want projects that can impact a lot of people in a quick manner. That's why I'm suggesting $150,000 for mobile home, minor home repair to help folks in those areas, and our normal allocation of fish of $45.97.
Now, Treasurer Ferrari, this is not guaranteed to us, is it?
Only thing supposedly that's guaranteed is the $45.97.
So we have to compete with every township,
City and village.
city and village in Oakland County for those community development block grants funds.
We're hoping by it impacting enough people that the committee that's looking at it will say, wow, this will help a lot of people. At least the impression I got is the smaller projects, like I want to do the bathroom at my park. And I don't think those are going to be looked upon favorably. They want most bang for their buck.
Yeah, this year there's $1,221,625 available to the participating Oakland County community allocations. So there's a lot of people competing for those funds. Trustee Colvin.
We have a accounting of the expenditure of the funds that we did last year.
Yeah, but we can get that. That is through Habitat for Humanity. Yeah, they know exactly where they're at. That's why you've got the list of how many people they've done. I'll make a motion that the Oxford Township Board, Charter Township Oxford Board of Trustees formally agrees to allocate its 2026 Community Development Block Grant CDBG funds in the following manner: $150,000 for the mobile home minor home repair program for mobile homes within Lake Villa and Parkhurst that is administered through Oakland County CDBG, and $4,597 to provide Oxford Township residents with emergency food assistance. The Charter Township Oxford Board of Trustees also authorizes CDBG Coordinator Joseph G. Ferrari to prepare all the necessary documents, authorizes Supervisor Jack L. Curtis to sign the 2026 annual CDBG submittal, 2026 subrecipient agreement, when made available, and the conflict of interest certification on behalf of the township.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Clerk Wright. My number one question is, what if we don't get the $150,000 from Oakland County
Then we'll have $45.97.
with no recourse for us to take that $150,000 and allocate it?
No, it'll be better luck next year.
Okay. Any questions? It's Clerk Wright.
Yeah, on that, just to follow that up. So if we don't get the $150,000, if we do get any monies, they will still be authorized for mobile home, minor home repair. We don't have to come back to the board to reapprove.
If they might give us less, but at least my understanding is they're going for big projects. And there might be somebody that's got a park for $1 million.
Well, Treasurer Ferrari, the question is, again, to support Clerk Wright, is will we have to come back in here if they said, you're gonna get 75,000 for mobile home repairs if you do it? We're covered with this motion?
Yep, because we're out requesting 150, up to 150.
I asked it in a different way, so yep, we got it.
You're okay.
Okay, roll call.
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On page 253 of this document, under the quick overview and analysis, it talks about keeping all the preceding information in mind. We've suggested the following allocations. It lists the allocations, and then below that has a sample motion, and it only lists one of the allocations. Is there a second one missing?
Yeah, that was missing from the packet. Kelly sent that out the next day
okay.
as an attachment.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I let her know that when I was reading through my packet.
My miss. Thank you.
Roll call.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay, my turn to get Mateo. 14A, board members, what we're trying to do with efficiencies and cost savings and, you know, our planner can do $10,000 worth of work. The work comes to this board and we turn them down. We've wasted $10,000. So what Mateo has done now is working with the Ordinance Review Committee, and some of these topics are coming forward. Rather than doing the work on it and spending all the money, we're going to ask this board, first off, what do you think? Okay, right now, and just a wild example is, if we spent $500 to get it to this point, before we spend another $10,000 to get it to an approval point, we're going to be asking item 14A, we're going to have discussion and feedback on developing an accessory dwelling unit ordinance. Mateo, you want to come up, please? What this does, board members, is, why don't you say it?
Yeah, so, and I did introduce myself earlier, Mateo Paslacco of Carlisle Wharton Associates with the planning consultants for the township. So as Supervisor Curtis had indicated, as part of the ORC's, you guys see the ORC's work plan every year with kind of the projects that we're going to undertake and eventually bring up to the board. Some topics are technicalities, some topics are making adjustments here or there. Some topics are heavy lifts and require a lot of conversation and homework. So as Supervisor Curtis indicated, with those items, what we would rather do is have the ORC kind of do the initial lift on research, then solicit feedback from township staff, then solicit feedback from the planning commission, and then finally solicit feedback from you. And by the time it gets to you, those other entities have been vetted, and what you would have in front of you is kind of their feedback and your thoughts. And again, to the supervisor's point, we just don't want to put a lot of time and effort into something that's not going to be supported at the board level. And not here to say if that's good or bad, it's just a fact. So kind of the first one for tonight's discussion is ADUs. I don't want to function under the assumption that the board knows what they are, but just in a broad sense, they can be attached or detached accessory dwelling units. And so typically detached is on the same lot, you would have two dwelling units. ADUs are typically smaller than the principal structure itself, and or the home could be built out with an addition or internal floor space, existing floor space, to be a separate dwelling unit.
The township has gotten several inquiries about things like tiny houses. That's a term being used today. Or I want to build a house in my backyard that's smaller for my aging parent or a challenged sibling, so that they could be on their own. It's a pretty, it can be very, I don't want to say cantankerous.
It can be contentious.
Yes. You know, you have a residential house and you want to move your mother in, so you build a house in your backyard. Okay? Or you have a house and you don't want your mother or your father to be in your main house, so you add a house on the side of your house. And what this does, if you go through the packet, and Tim London's letter calls it out real good, what happens when the intended purpose for the ADU is no longer needed? Will it be rented out? Now you have a Airbnb. How will the township enforce all of the things that are going on with that? Would setback requirements for the ADU be the same as for accessory structures like detached garages or pole barns? You have additional parking, ingress, egress, a driveway access for an ambulance or for the fire truck. How about the current septic tank requirements and/or fields handling the additional bathrooms? Or you're raising your REU capacity for that dwelling or that lot by having a sewer tap. So this is pretty cantankerous, and you have a lot of questions that have been brought forward. Do we still want the ordinance review subcommittee working on passing an ordinance for ADU units to be permitted?
I guess if I may, oh, sorry.
My opinion.
Trustee Colvin.
I think it creates more problems than it solves.
I have a comment. People are doing this homegrown. I was surprised when I was looking at homes 6 years ago how many were like this. At least in my opinion is if they're going to do this, let's provide them some guidance.
And that was something that we did here. The planning commission's response to this was they did share code enforcement concerns, but they also, I think they were supportive on kind of an if-then basis. If certain regulations are in place, they could, I think there was tepid support for it on kind of an if-then basis. And again, you don't have language in front of you. It's hard to say I support this or I don't support this if I'm not giving you ordinance language. But the point, oh, sorry.
So now's the time for the feedback, like you said, David. Some of this is going on right now, but nobody is building a home in Waterstone, a tiny home behind their house for their mother to live in.
Not yet.
Not yet. If they do, how do they get sewage? If they do, how do they get water? And when that person moves on, how do they account for what that building's going to be used for?
So what makes anyone think that folks are not turning their basements or attics into ADUs today?
Well, no one doesn't think that they aren't. No one stops you from finishing your basement. No one stops you from adding bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchens, fireplaces, walkout basements. No one stops you from that.
Exactly.
But what this does is allows you to build a house in your backyard. And then you have to clarify what a family member is. My basement is now finished. I'm going to move my third cousin, twice removed, into my basement. Or, Catherine, I'm going to build a little tiny house next to me, and my mom's going to move in there, and she's going to pass away. Now what? You have an ADU, which is used for an Airbnb on a golf course.
It's not an easy.
No, it is not.
It's not easy.
Well, to echo
Charles.
what Trustee Colvin said, it's nothing but a can of worms. It's a can of worms.
If you want my opinion, I will give you one. It turns things into Airbnbs. It does not capture the amount of proper septage that's being flowed in bigger yards. It does not capture well. It does not capture sewer taps. It could already be done now, but you would be allowing a duplex by adding on the side of your house.
Mateo, could the ordinance
Sure, go ahead, Trustee Wagner.
capture these concerns or capture these issues?
Yes, I mean, you can write ordinances to not be, just kind of the quote unquote the Wild West when it comes to ADUs. I mean, you can have a lot of different regulations and design standards in place. One of the things I do want to at least provide the board, and I know it was in the memo, is just where some of, at least with the feedback from staff and the planning commission, as it relates to concerns, some of the things that were considered were that the units, if they were to be leased, would have to be leased for 30 days or more. Attached ADUs or detached ADUs would need to conform to lot standards and setbacks, but there was a lot of conversation that lot sizes for detached would need to be at least 2 acres or more. There was that detached units could only be a percentage of the square footage of the principal structure to make sure that you don't have 2,000 square foot homes on one site. That they would need to face front or side lot lines, more or less as a privacy procedure, and that their appearance would have to be consistent with the primary structures. I want to give that to you because that's the feedback on top of the memos that you received from the departments tonight. That's kind of what came about through RC and PC.
Yeah, I have a question for Attorney Ellis. As we get her to stand up.
Teed up.
My property is zoned R1. That means one house. Does this circumvent the zoning codes, the zoning enabling act?
Well, first, there's no ordinance up tonight, so I haven't seen an actual ordinance, but I
Right.
think that it could be drafted so that you were not circumventing the zoning ordinance or the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, but it would have to be carefully crafted ordinance.
Any Treasurer Ferrari?
I make a motion to deny developing an accessory dwelling unit ordinance.
I'll second it.
Okay.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by, is that
Give it Shapiro.
It doesn't matter.
Trustee Shapiro?
Trustee Rod Charles Shapiro.
Any other questions? Roll call?
Trustee Charles?
Yes. I say yes, I mean, we're not gonna be doing this.
Yep, we're
ordinance.
denying it.
We're denying it, so I'm saying.
Voting yes is denying them to work on it.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Wagner?
No.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes,
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
that happens, Dave.
No, that's fair.
David's open a
Bill used to
VPO.
always tell me, so sorry you lose.
Hey, at least we asked.
Item 14B, Mateo. You're here
Yeah.
tonight. We might as well have you stand, right?
I packaged it all in one.
Very
Not that I
good.
Enjoy seeing the board.
14B, discussion and feedback on developing a mixed-use ordinance.
265.
Right now, the current zoning ordinance does allow for upper story residential in C1, C2, and office districts. However, these districts are capped at 2 and 3-story maximum heights and provide no additional regulations relating how the site should be laid out or designed. So give us an example of what this ordinance would do.
So the township has toyed with this kind of wrong word, but mixed use has kind of been in the back of everyone's head through the master plan, through the zoning ordinance for the last decade or so. And it's been sitting on the ORC's work plan year after year, and not, other things came on. But one of the things that I wanted to do was kind of make the final decision on, are we gonna do something with this, or do we need to get it off the work plan and leave it be? And so in looking at your ordinance kind of allows for mixed use because C1, C2, and office do allow for upper story residential as a special land use. But with some special land uses, there are specific regulations written on top of the other or standards that kind of guide how the development can be built, what's allowable, what isn't, so on and so forth. So what we thought at the ORC was, okay, you kind of have a foundation here. We don't have to write a brand new ordinance. We don't have to come up with a new zoning or designation. We don't have to change the map. More or less what we need to do is consider, okay, do we want to do mixed use? And if we do, we keep it a special land use and we start writing those additional regulations. So just as we did with the ADU, we want to kind of bring it to you in conversational format to see what the board's appetite is for potentially reviewing a mixed use ordinance. One of the things I do kind of want to go through some notes of consideration because they are important, especially even as it relates to the height capping that Supervisor Curtis mentioned. These developers, so in a former life, I worked in commercial real estate for 10 years, and I did a lot of pro forma work. And I can tell you that in that life, and even in this life, mixed-use projects need at least 4 stories. I would say some might get by on 3, But per the different, your blending of two codes, you have a commercial and a residential code that get baked into one construction project. Right now in the world of retail, I mean, retail is evolving post-COVID, but it is no longer, kind of the rental powerhouse that it used to be. Residential is. So the more residential you let them put up top, the better the numbers get. And what we have basically found is that if you're capping at 3 stories, if you do get a project, they will be asking for subsidies. Again, I'm not here to say that's good or bad. That's just something that will be put in front of you. So working with the ORC, the Planning Commission, Township staff, we kind of wanted to get this to the point where the Township Board would need to consider going above the 3-story cap you have in the Township right now. We've proposed 4. That's gotten, I think that's gotten favorable feedback. There hasn't been any major pushback. We've talked about some articulation design standards that might allow for maybe that 4-story to be pushed back a little bit, so it doesn't kind of have this overarching feel to it. Another one is kind of coming up with potential design standards, complementary materials that could be used. Some things to consider is that the areas where this is going to be sought is along M24, which kind of works for your zoning anyways. That's where all your C2, C1, and office are anyways. Layouts do typically call for reduced or no setbacks. You do see a lot of these properties up in the front lot line, kind of building off of that traditional downtown feel. It's not to say you have to do that, but it is common. There are both horizontal and vertical mixed use. Vertical is the one more commonly known. Horizontal more or less references different uses on the same site. Parking requirements typically need to be custom because you're now taking 2 different uses with 2 different parking standards and trying to fit them all on one site. So there is some consideration for that. And then an important consideration as well is that the residential associated with most of these projects are anywhere from 750 to 1,500 square foot rental properties, typical what you would see at least from a floor design layout, and a market or a rental market associated with like your RM zones. And so we just wanted to make sure that that's the kind of residential you would see with these projects. And again, typically the more residential the developers are allowed to put on the site, the better the numbers crunch.
A perfect example of this drawing here is on the corner of Tinkin and Rochester Road. You see the lofts that are built on the east side of the parking, and more towards the west is all grocery stores, Altas. In fact, there's a bar on the corner, Hamlin Pub, and some other retail stores. This is what the ORC has been challenged with. Does this board want to move forward with trying some of these unique things in Oxford? Charles.
Is there a demand for this, or are we just thinking way into the future?
I mean, residential demand, yes. One of the things and again, this isn't good or bad, but if a developer comes into the community and has market data that says your community can support 400 units, and you're only going to let so many units per site, they're going to keep finding sites until they get those 400 units, right? So you see more rezonings. Residential density of this level might be able to absorb some of that more so on a single site than what you're seeing with the subdivisions that are being requested, but in general, residential demand is very strong.
Trustee Wagner.
We do have, in our master plan, we do have zoning for mixed use. So not having an ordinance or some way to address it kind of makes no sense from a township standpoint.
Yes, the township, advertently or inadvertently, whichever way you want to go about it, is kind of putting it out there to developers that they're open for mixed use. And again, that's kind of where we're at this crossroads. I either want to confirm that we are or confirm that we're not.
Clerk Wright.
Yeah, when you look at the permitted zoning areas, C1, C2, and office, essentially you're looking at the M24 corridor. And for a 4-story building, what do you think the minimum size of a lot would need to be to accommodate that?
I would say it's tough because developers can get creative. Typically, the minimum of 3/4 of an acre is kind of what you want to see to make some level of multiple story mixed use with on-site parking.
Because when I look down the corridor, the vacant lots that I see are very minimal. I mean, I wrote them down, the levy piece, the Beaumont Hospital that's supposed to go on there. I guess the question to you, Supervisor Curtis, was that more than 2 stories?
That was 7
3
stories.
stories, so,
Yeah.
so right there, for mixed use, I mean, I don't know if that'd be the classification on the zoning or not, but, you know, one of the questions I raised today in our discussion too was, fire, services on that. You indicated that the, buildings must be fire suppressed, but my question was if the suppression doesn't meet the need for the building, or if you have people to be rescued, does our tower truck handle that height?
Right, and I know the fire department did provide feedback, I don't know if you.
Yeah.
That's why I would think that this is something that is, I guess if you ask me yes or no, that yes, would be worth pursuing to see if this is something that would be a benefit for the future of Oxford. My concern is that you don't put it like a spot zoning type piece of property that doesn't really match up with the character and the future of the layout that we want to see up and down up 24.
Any other questions? Trustee Shapiro.
Yeah, I know the intersection, Supervisor Curtis, that you mentioned actually intimately, and it's an exciting, busy intersection with the lofts and the dime and all that stuff. I mean, the hometown feel of Oxford, I think is very attractive to all of us, and I would hate to have anything close to that type of intersection with mixed use, where you've got the Jersey Mike's, whatever you have those types of retail and residential together, and I think that would kind of really that would run counter to what we're trying to preserve.
And I think it was addressed that the retail has been dropping dramatically, and the only way you can bring some sort of a customized retail is to offset it with what is needed, and that's housing.
I would offer, just to compliment your question about demand, is there are a lot of programs right now regarding this type of housing, helping with the conversations around missing middle, like workforce housing, people who are, in the income range of $50,000 to $70,000 a year. They can't afford a house, but they could afford, a 750,000 square foot rent loft.
Trustee Charles.
Mr. Wright mentioned spot zoning sort of things. Would this be something, we were talking earlier about the problems at Drainer Road and M24?
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What,
could we potentially put this kind of development there?
Putting something on the corner.
Sure.
I mean, get rid of those eyesores, as I think Trustee Shapiro mentioned, and put something like this there.
Yeah, I mean, again, if this would allow, and again, we don't have language in front of you, but right now what we're looking at is C2, C1 in office would allow for mixed-use development with additional regulations.
Remember, tonight we're not making a decision on whether, we're making a decision on we let the Planning Commission ORC work on this topic.
Well, to that, can we ask that be put in that kind of an area? So as the people here earlier from horse country said, don't overdevelop that area, can we do that too?
There's no C2 or C1 or office in horse country. That's all from M24 to the village is about all we have left of C1 and C2. Maybe a couple little spots.
So by definition, we could do Drainer and M24 if that was to happen.
All 3 sides, 4 sides. Well,
do all 4, what the heck?
Why not?
I'll make a motion to approve developing a mixed-use ordinance.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Wagner. Any further questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Question.
Oh, yes, sir.
So the motion's pretty plain, I'll call it that. And do we know where we go? I mean, does that go back to the Planning Commission?
Well, what I heard was he made a motion to develop a mixed-use
correct
ordinance.
Up to them to tailor it.
And the ordinance review subcommittee would then do that and put it into the Planning Commission to hone it, tweak it, and then bring it back to us.
All right. And we'll assume that that's in the motion. Okay.
Roll call.
Roll call. Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mateo. You gonna stick around?
He's out.
How can you leave now?
Lock the door for him.
We're serving.
There's many streetlights on the way home.
Halloween.
Thank you. Item 14C, Oakland County Access to Transit Resolution, CJ?
Thank you. I'm currently working on an application for $1 million in funding from the Oakland County Access to Transit Program, and the application is due December 1st. And if approved, this money will be used to fund construction of a shared use path along the south side of Seymour Lake Road from Sanders Road to Seymour Lake Township Park. The path will be used by pedestrians, cyclists, and mobility device users to travel to and from Oxford's flagship park. And it'll also be the final link needed after the Dunlap to Sanders path is constructed next year to create a system of township paths and village sidewalks that link Oxford's most popular destinations, Seymour Lake Park, historic downtown Oxford, and the Polynesian Trail. If awarded the entire $1 million, that would fund 62% of the estimated construction costs from Engineer Sharp. Because the program only has $2 million available, the odds of receiving the full amount of $1 million appear to be low, but as the old saying goes, if you don't ask, you don't get. And if we don't receive the $1 million in funding, I talked to the county, and there's the possibility of us being awarded a lower amount, which I could use as matching funds for the Transportation Alternatives Grant through SEMCOG that I'm pursuing for this same safety path project. And that TAP grant is due next year. But in order to apply for the Oakland County funding, I need the board to please approve the resolution contained in your packet.
See, just quick thing. Is this money coming from our transit millage that we pay every year?
Yes.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
I move to approve the attached Oakland County Access to Transit Program resolution that enables Oxford Township to submit a $1 million funding request, help construct a shared use or safety path along the south side of Seymour Lake Road, extending from Sanders Road to Seymour Lake Township Park.
I'll second that.
I heard the Treasurer Ferrari, was that?
Trustee Charles.
Trustee Charles.
Trustee Charles. I had a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Charles. Any questions? Hearing none. Roll call.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Thank you, board members.
Item 14D, Sharp Engineering Professional Service Rate Request. Is Engineer Sharp here tonight?
Yeah. Got a suit on tonight.
That's what we do.
He is, if you have any questions.
Well, first off, your professional service rate is not above and beyond any other engineering service rate after doing some investigation. But in Engineer Sharp's letter, Engineer Sharp is, in fact, addressing more and more requests for information from potential developers and office staff. While a majority of these funds are paid through trust and agency accounts for the developers, capturing the amount that's the prevailing wage is seems to me like it's very fair. The retainer and the hourly rate, proposed hourly rate. For example, Engineer Sharp worked on 85 homes in Sanctuary, 160 homes in Tullamore, 150 homes at Sandman, which he's starting to work on right now, and potential 80 homes on Clearview for Baldwin. So he's very busy, but the prevailing wage needs to be correct.
We haven't updated our prices since 2023. So.
I move to approve the Sharp Engineering hourly fee increases as listed and the proposed schedule of fees for engineering services to be effective January 5th, 2026, and approve a monthly retainer fee in the amount of $1,000 to be effective January 5th, 2026, and include the November 4th, 2025 Sharp Engineering letter and the proposed schedule of fees for engineering services as an attachment to the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari and a second by Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let's see, 14E, Township Committee Policy Amendments. Let's have Trustee Colvin.
Okay, the board, the Personnel Committee was asked to look at our committee policy that was approved in May of 2024. We approved that to address a situation that no longer exists. And while we were reviewing this policy, we determined it was causing more problems than it was solving. So we recommend to rescind the committee policy. However, there are still things that need to be done. So the chair people of each committee will still have to put in a memo every month to discuss what the committee has done, or if you are the sole member, say like I'm the commissioner for OCTV, I will present that as a memo to the board, and the chairperson will also have to submit to the payroll person, the people that were in attendance at those meetings, so that she has some sort of audit trail.
Okay.
I move to rescind the committee policy approved by the Oxford Township Board of Trustees on May 8th, 2024, effective immediately. Each committee chair or township representative on a commission shall continue to submit a report to be included in the Oxford Township Board of Trustees monthly meeting packet. The committee chair shall also submit a list of committee members present each committee meeting to the deputy clerk for payroll in a timely manner.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari and a second by Trustee Charles. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Board members, item 14G is the 2026 holiday schedule.
I move to approve the Charter Township of Oxford 2026 holiday schedule as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis, did we skip 14F?
We amended the agenda to take it off.
Oh, we did. Okay. Thank you.
Item 14H, 2026 Township Board meeting schedule.
I move to approve the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees 2026 regular meeting schedule as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin, and a question from Clerk Wright.
No, just a point of awareness that the November meeting is on Tuesday, 2026, so you'll find that out as we get closer to that date.
Thank you. Roll call.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Here we go. Going to be here for a while
I
tonight.
move 17 up in case we'd like to address this, so they don't have to wait for this. Your call.
Can you amend the agenda right now?
You can pause this, just go to these if you want.
Can we do that?
Or so you can pause
Secretary?
this.
About stuff like that.
Can we go?
I didn't ask that question. All this.
You can move anything.
Okay, here's what we'll do. We are going to move item 15 after items 16, 17, and 18, but before 19.
Only that it was.
Sure.
They made the
Okay.
motion at the beginning.
So, item 16, items removed from the consent agenda. There were none. Item 17 is another chance for the public to come up and speak on a topic for 3 minutes. If you would, step up to the mic and we'll listen to your comments. Hi.
Here we go.
My name is Mary Reynolds. I just want to talk about the rescindment of the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees policy. Okay, so you guys just rescinded this policy. I was reading the purpose and scope, what was just rescinded. One of the items that was listed in there was encourage citizen engagement. And I was at a committee meeting, and there were 4 people at it, and I do want to mention that I was very welcome, at a committee meeting. Everybody was happy that we were over there and, welcomed us. I asked to go to another, and I was told that the general public is not welcome, at another committee meeting. Then you guys just rescinded this part that says that you encourage citizen engagement. I'm just basically, concerned about this because I don't know at what point I'm able to speak to you people other than at a Board of Trustees meeting. So I don't know if you can give me an answer at this point.
Can't answer your question in a public comment.
Okay.
Well, somebody will address it in the Board of Trustees comment.
Okay. Well, also, at one point I did ask, for a Freedom of Information Act, about different meetings that you could go to. I got a couple from the Personnel Committee meeting. And in the agenda is a section for public comment. And this just does not seem consistent to me, that you would be in the agenda for public comment, yet the public is not welcome. So I guess those are my 2 questions.
Interesting. Thank you. Any other public comments? Hearing none, item 18, Board of Trustee comments. Trustee Colvin.
Board members, I just wanted to let you know the Compensation Committee has sent out 360-degree peer reviews to all the full-time employees. If you have not completed those, please do. Encourage your employees to please complete them. We are going to meet next week to start looking at that data to try to determine our recommendations for the December board meeting. So we will stop taking input at the end of this week.
Okay. Clerk Wright?
No, does everybody have a happy Thanksgiving? How's that?
Thank you. Treasurer Ferrari?
At least I know we had some concerns about these committee meetings. I think it depends on the committee, like water sewer. I always talk with Chairman Wagner and Vice Chair Colvin that we have so many important things going up. We're probably going to continue with our minutes to keep our board and the public abreast. That's a different type of committee than like a personnel committee would be. We might be discussing person X, whether they deserve a raise or not. That's more of a sensitive nature. That's my opinion. That's all I have.
Trustee Wagner?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Trustee Shapira?
Hi, I'd like to address my fellow trustees. One of the things that I'm big on in my professional career is communication, having worked with troubled companies and all kinds of stuff. And I'm a little concerned about the responsiveness of some of our fellow trustees. I don't want to single anybody out, but I know at least 2 people, including myself, so one other, that have sent emails to other trustees and have not either gotten a response or gotten a response in a timely manner. And a lot of this has to do with meeting times. I work, as everyone knows, and so I prefer 8 o'clock meetings. But we have a lot of confusion. It's not well communicated, and it's very confusing. In fact, we've had Trustee Charles show up at 8 a.m. for a meeting that was supposed to happen but was never canceled formally. I also wondered about myself. So I'm asking us as a board to communicate better, to communicate responsibly. The last thing I will say, kind of rolling back to where I started, is I have still at least 2 emails out there to other Board of Trustee members that have not been responded to. So I've given up on those, and I'm not going to, reach out further. But again, I concerned about communication amongst the Board of Trustees. I would ask that people be responsive, and transparent, and set meeting times and send invitations around. It's not always the case, so everyone knows when, what, and all that stuff. But I do see an issue that I think should be addressed.
Okay. Trustee Charles?
Oxford Addison Youth Assistance has a program right now. I'll put something in the mailboxes as a reminder. It's also in the packet where if you want to get, there's a QR code. So if you want to make a contribution for hygiene products, it goes right from Amazon to Oxford Addison Youth Assistance. It's an easy program. It's hygiene products for kids at the middle school, toothbrushes, shampoo, stuff like that for kids that are in need. It's delivered to them on a confidential basis. So I would encourage people to do that.
Okay. Addressing the concern about public comment on agendas, it's a standard form that's used, and we're going to have to change the form. Not all committee meetings are open to public comment. There are employee privacy rights that we have to respect. There are compensation that we have to negotiate and only recommend. We do not hold any meeting that makes a decision. Any committee that meets is making a recommendation to this board. All of these board of trustees, including myself, were elected to a position. There's 22,500 people roughly in Oxford, and your elected official listens to you and brings that information to that elected official that you converse with weekly, monthly, daily. Their phone numbers, their emails. They will answer you. They'll call you back. They will call you. But some of those meetings will not have public comment in them. And we're using a standard form, which we will take care of. Rescinding the public meeting, that was done to get the lack of meeting minutes into the consent agenda, and it's easier to monitor the payroll situation by who attended the meeting, and your concerns can always be voiced to any member of this board through personal contact, driving to a hockey game, calling them on the phone, coming in and talking to them, setting up a meeting with them, and voicing your concern. I've talked to 15 people today, so I know what they want. And trustees, I'll mirror and trailer off of Trustee Shapira. I have 15 emails scheduling telephone calls. I haven't gotten that telephone call yet, and I've had it on my calendar probably 11 times. So we are all guilty of not communicating well and not following up with emails and not following up with commitments. So we need to do a better job of that. And that's my final Board of Trustee comment. So members of the public, we are going to call a closed session.
I move to enter a closed session, purpose of discussing a confidential written legal opinion pursuant to MCL 15.268H, MCL 15.243G, regarding the establishment scope of proposed special assessment district, or Act 188 of 1954, including the inclusion or exclusion of certain parcels related to nonconformity issues under the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, and potential condemnation or property acquisition considerations. Closed session also to include discussion of a confidential legal opinion or potential community benefit contract termination. Closed session to include Township Attorney Ellis, Township Engineer Sharp, Fire Chief Majestic, Communications Grant Manager Carnacchio, Deputy Supervisor Smith, Recording Secretary McCullough.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Roll call, please.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. All right, we're back in open session.
I move to 1, authorize termination of the current community benefit agreement with Infinity and Beyond, LLC, conditioned upon the company's execution of a written termination amendment that A, limits the company's permitted limited retail distribution use for the period ending on March 31st, 2026. And B, includes a repayment trigger, providing that if the company retains its township retail permit and operates as a retailer at any time thereafter, the full $100,000 community benefit shall immediately become due. And 2, authorize the township attorney to prepare the termination amendment and a replacement community benefit agreement, and further authorize the township supervisor to approve and execute those documents on behalf of the township consistent with the board's direction.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari. I have a second by Trustee Colvin. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari.
Second.
I have a second by Trustee Wagner. Oh, you did?
Oh.
You seconded before you made the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. This is the longest.